Hey guys, how's it going? I could get used to this. Welcome to Starcastic Remarks. This is the after game review for game number 2. Dallas plays Nashville again tonight. They win by a final score of 5-1 this evening. Along with James, my name is Brian. Maybe we'll be joined by Chris here a little bit later, but if not, you're kind of stuck with us here tonight. Hey James, how are you doing tonight?
I am very sick. So just warning for everyone else going through. If I'm coughing and sniffling and you hear all that, I apologize in advance, but I am here.
He's legitly dying if
I am.
if they get to that point, right? Now, is it like you legit feel sick or you just sound sick? Like, do you sound okay?
I am sick and I also sound sick.
Yeah, you sound pretty rough. Hopefully you do okay here. But
I've only the worst part is I'm already past. I had like a sore throat for a straight 24 hours, but I got past that and now it's just fully congested and I can't breathe.
oh, that's even worse, man. Well, you know who wasn't congested and who was still able to breathe was the Dallas Stars tonight. Initial thoughts from this game tonight, James?
They're amazing. I love them. The first line is the best line in hockey. This is exactly what I need when I'm stuck at home and I feel like garbage.
Right?
It's the Stars to destroy.
Like, I really feel like this team is we're seeing a new brand of hockey that we haven't seen yet. And here's the thing about it is it was different than what I expected, but at the same time, it's a good different because it seems like we did play a lot in our zone tonight. We played a lot in our own zone tonight, but we played well defensively. And then when the breakdowns happened for Nashville, we were able to take advantage of our opportunities. And that was obvious when the first line did that tonight.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason why I would say we played in our own zone tonight was because every time that we got in their zone, the puck was in the back of their net.
And that continued to happen all night tonight. And that top line just continues to do it for the Dallas Stars. So, I mean, what was nice about, Thursday's game, it was all the new guys who were getting in, Lundqvist, Marchment. And then tonight, it was like completely different. It's like the first line decided to take over in tonight's game. Who is the most impressive out of the three that you thought was the best? Pavelski, Robo, or Hintz?
Robo, because he didn't play in training camp.
But yeah, he was still really good.
Yeah, and I was one of the people who were saying that's probably going to hurt him, and it very much did not. He looks amazing.
Yep, and if I'm correct, let me look at the actual stats here for tonight. Those three guys end with 8 points in the game tonight. Pavelski had 2 assists. Robo had a goal and 2 assists. Hintz had 2 goals and 1 assist. So yes, 8 points on the night for that first line. And if we can continue to do that and get the secondary scoring like we got the secondary scoring from the game on Thursday, then this team is going to be really exciting as we go forward. But anyways, let's just get into a quick summary of the game. There was a really stupid interference penalty on Fox. It was a 2-minute minor, and I thought it was dumb. But then the stat came up. Dallas has killed 23 straight penalties against Nashville dating back to last season. And during the penalty on Fox, Hintz would actually get a shorthanded breakaway goal after a really good puck jack. Top shelf, Heiskanen gets the assist. Stars go up 1-0 very early on in the first 5 minutes of the game. What did you think about that particular play from Roope Hintz?
Yeah, Roope stole the puck and he knew exactly who to give it to. He gave it to Miro and then started skating.
Right, exactly. It was almost like they thought of it beforehand, but and you got to give Miro credit for that pass too. It's not like it was an easy pass. It was a great pass. It was a saucer pass, definitely.
But again, that's why Hintz is throwing it to him. He knows he's going to get that pass.
Definitely. Dallas would get a power play, and Pavelski would get a chance. Sagan would get a chance, and they had a lot of good chances. But give credit to UC Saros on that power play for the Stars. He was in hero mode when it comes to that, and I think those were your words, right?
Yeah, those were my words. He literally went full hero mode. There was like 3 chances where we had him dead to rights, and he saved every single one of them. So.
Pavelski would have a chance on a 3-on-2 on-man rush off of a turnover, which the Stars would take advantage of a lot in tonight's game, like just chances off of turnovers. Heiskanen would first force a turnover in the offensive zone. I thought that was noteworthy because we're trying to see if Heiskanen is going to get more involved offensively this season, and it appears that that's going to be the case for Mr. Miro Heiskanen. Tanner Jeannot would have a chance, and he misses barely as it goes wide. Dallas is forcing a lot of ozone turnovers, and Otter robs a shot after a bouncing puck, and it goes off of Suter's skate. It was a crazy little play there, but Otter makes a really great glove save there. Duchesne would also miss on a chance after 2 missed penalties that should have been called on Forsberg, and we'll get into that here a little bit after the review. And then Ben also had a really prime chance, and he was actually mad at himself as the time would expire in the first period. What did you think about the Stars' play in the first period, James?
Yeah, it was mostly rush chances throughout the first period. I mean, our penalty kill when we were on it looked great. We got that shorthanded goal, and that was about that summarizes the whole thing.
That is one thing I've noticed about this year is that the special teams for the Stars on both sides of the puck have looked good.
These two games.
Yeah, it is 2 games. Yes, I should pump the brakes on it, but so far so good, right?
So far so good.
Beginning of the second period, me taking notes, I wrote down lots of D-men shooting the puck. That was something they highlighted right before the second period started. And then right off the bat, again, another Minutemen goal. Hintz would score after an Ekholm deflection. It was just a kind of fluky goal, but again, Stars go up 2-0. Hintz gets his second of the game. What'd you think?
Yeah. 2 games, 2 Minutemen goals. Let's go.
Words are hard for you, James.
Everything's hard for me right now. Thinking is hard.
I know. Yeah, me too. There was an almost goal, and it looked like it went into the net, but the net kind of went on,
What do you mean? That was a goal, Ryan.
It was not a goal. It went underneath.
It was a goal. It was a goal.
Whatever.
It's Saros' fault for lifting the goal post up, okay? It's his own fault. That's a goal.
Well,
it's not like we came over there and lifted the net and threw it underneath the goal. No,
exactly.
He did that.
Exactly. That is exactly what happened. There is a Lindell interference penalty. I thought that was a terrible call. Nonetheless, the Nashville Predators would go on the power play, and I wrote they're getting nothing on the power play. They got one good chance, and that was about it, and it wasn't even that great of a chance. Couple minutes later, Pavelski would score on a 3-on-2 to make it 3-0 after a really, really bad defensive awareness play by Nashville. It looks like it's offsides, and it's not 3-0 anymore. Nashville challenges it, and they win the challenge. It was very clearly offside, and that really stinks because it was a beautiful goal.
Yeah, it's frustrating too because the person who was offsides didn't even end up touching the puck. So,
right, exactly. But I mean, that's in
the rule. It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
We live. We move on.
Ottinger would have another save on an odd man rush on Matt Duchesne, who would take a penalty a little later in the second period. There was a really awkward ozone bounce for the Stars, and it led to Wyatt Johnston getting a chance as well. There were some matching minors. It was 4-on-4 for a little while, and during the 4-on-4, Heiskanen would score, and it was on a 3-on-2 odd man rush, and Robo gets the assist on that. So this one actually counts, and the Stars are for real up 3-0.
Yeah, and honestly, this is when I saw that pass from Robo, I was like, he's in full swing now. Like that's what he did all season long. He would somehow pass it through everyone, and the last dude would tip it in. That's what he would do. It was a spectacular pass, even greater for Miro to see it and tip it in too.
Roman Josi gets really, really, really mad, and he decides to crash the net by himself, and he actually does end up getting a chance for it. I can't fault him for that, but Otter would say no. About 2 minutes later, Ottinger would save another one on Roman Josi. It was a great shot by Roman Josi. Literally 7 seconds after that save, Matt Duchesne would hit the post, and right after, as the play goes the other way, he takes a penalty, and then he gets a 10-minute misconduct for abuse of official. James is I think what they called it.
He was yelling at them a lot. Okay, like I'm still surprised that they called it, but honestly, it was deserved. Like he was screaming and yelling and following them and continuing to yell. It's you can't do that. I mean, most refs will let it slide because they have thick skin, but I don't blame the ref for calling that either. I'd be pissed if it was my player, but I mean, still.
And I'll get into more in that here in just a second after the review of the game. But I do want to talk about that because I think this game was poorly riffed. Robo would have a chance close in on Saros. Saros says no. He played a really good game despite giving up 4 goals.
Yeah, he did.
There was a really big hit from Nino Niederreiter on Pavelski. Pavelski did not like that and went for a little bit of retribution with a hack on the skate.
And it looks
Suter
like
would take.
Niederreiter actually kind of went back and talked to Pavelski after that too. It seemed like he didn't mean did destroy him like that.
Oh, he Pavelski got destroyed on that play, like absolutely destroyed. So, anyway, Suter would take a penalty as well. I thought that was a little bit more warranted, but I still thought it was a little weak. That was one of the few ones that I thought was an actual penalty.
The only reason why I have a problem with it is because the dude literally just nailed Johnston in the face. Like, so Suter's trying to stick up for Johnston, and the little like tap essentially that he gave him was called. Like, it's just not right.
Well, I mean, that's exactly why you never retaliate. The refs always get the retaliatory penalty.
It's Ryan Suter.
Okay, but still, doesn't matter. Still doesn't matter. And unfortunately, that's just the way that the NHL is. So,
and then life goes on again.
Yep. Nashville at this point, the shots were 22-15. So the Stars were not getting a lot of the shots, in my opinion. But a lot of the shots Nashville was getting was from the outside. So I really thought it was fantastic the way that the Stars were doing. Yes, they were giving up a lot of shots, but they were not high-quality shots. And then what we would go from there is Foxa gets picked off of the face-off. No call is made. And Miller would take a tripping penalty. And, Foxa would get a penalty, for that. Miller gets a tripping penalty and makes it 5-on-3 for 35 seconds. During that 35 seconds, nothing is scored, but literally 2 seconds after the first penalty expires, Nito Niederreiter gets a tip-in goal, and it becomes 3-1 Dallas. It's power play goal, and seems like the only way that the Nashville Predators can get a goal past Jay Ottinger is just to get a tip in front.
Yep. It's really frustrating because Miller was literally tripped on that play in the corner, and he did trip the other player as well. I agree, but like his should have been called too. It was so frustrating tonight.
In the dying seconds of the second period, Nashville would have a turnover, and it would lead to another Minutemen chance for that top line for Dallas. Throughout the second period, what did you think of the play as the Stars go into the second intermission up 3-1?
Yeah, it felt like we were pretty dominant in the second period, besides the refs just calling, like, what is it? Besides the refs calling penalties that were against the flow of the game.
Yeah, and again, we'll talk about that here in a second. Beginning of the third period, one of the things I wrote down was Nashville had lots of possession time in the Dallas zone, but Dallas is able to take advantage of that with their defensive play. And Dallas is doing a lot of their damage on odd man rushes. So that was pretty much what I thought was the offensive part of the game going forward. There was a big hit on Miro by Ryan Johansson about a minute and a half in. Kiwi would have a chance, and then Robo would get a goal off of the rush. It was a shot in the slot. Again, it was just really bad defensive awareness by the Nashville Predators. Stars go up 4-1. What did you think of that play by the top line in that particular case?
Yeah, the top line did the play that they do all the time, which is Robo skates it in, passes it back to Hintz. Hintz skates it in, passes it back to Pavelski. Pavelski passes it to Hintz, and Hintz magically finds Robo in the middle of the ice. Yeah, I literally, like, as they were entering the zone, I was sitting there with Dad, and I was like, yeah, that's what they do. And then the puck went in. So that was like they dismantled the defense from the Predators there, and it was easy goal for Robo. Exactly what we like seeing from the first line.
It just looked really easy for them, to be totally honest.
Yeah, it looked like it was going in slow motion.
Right. And it's not like Nashville didn't have anybody back. I think they had like all 5 guys back, and they were still able to do that.
There were 4, yeah. was 4-3, and they I think Hintz passed it through 2 people to get it back to Robertson, and Robertson was wide open.
So going after that goal, Stars are at 4-1. Hockenpah, who was very noticeable tonight on the physical side of the game, would have a hit on Sanford. There's a little bit of jarring going back and forth between a couple of those players. This part frustrated me a lot. There was some extra stuff on Marchment. There was no call, and Niederreiter should have been called on that play, in my opinion. What did you think about that particular part?
Well, it was frustrating because we were getting called on like the smallest things all game long, and we literally got called on it for Suter, literally in the same game, and we don't get a call for it. Like it's crap.
Yeah, I agree. There was at that point shots on goal were 27-18 in favor of Nashville. So Nashville still leading in the shot department, but not in the category that counts, which is goals. There was another big hit by Hockenpah about halfway through the period. And in that last 10 minutes, I didn't write much because it was just pretty much the Stars kind of making sure that the clock was winding down and they took care of business. They were still going in the offensive zone and putting some pressure, as Zach was saying. Yep, Zaggy. Love seeing the late game pressure still by the boys. That was really good, and I agree with that 100%. And that's something we've seen in the first 2 games that we didn't see a lot last year, or actually a lot last year. We didn't see it at all in the third period if we had a lead. So it was nice to see. Nashville would pull the goalie, not the goal. That'd be interesting. They pulled the goalie with about 5 minutes remaining, and eventually the Stars would get the empty net goal. 5-1 Dallas, empty net goal for Marchment. Marchment has 3 goals on the season. What did you think about the third period overall?
It's fine. I mean, it was really just that the beginning of the period where we had a lot of pressure and the first line scored, and then the rest of it just kind of went on. I will say this, though. This was the most frustrating 5-1 win I've ever watched. It was so frustrating to watch.
So what was frustrating for you? Because it was frustrating for me, but nothing the Stars were doing.
The penalties just felt like they were against the flow of the game, and a lot of the ones that we were getting weren't even affecting the play of the game at all. It was just not fun to watch.
Yeah, and that was one of my takeaways from this game is like what happened in the game. It was poorly officiated, in my opinion. I really think it was poorly officiated. And I'm not just saying that from a Stars fan point. I honestly thought that the penalty that Duchesne took, I don't even think that was really a penalty, to be honest with you. And then on top of that, they throw him out of the game for 10 minutes because he jarred back. He was frustrated, of course. He had just hit the post, and then you're going to call him on a penalty that wasn't even a penalty, and then you're going to throw him out of the game for 10 minutes. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So it was just very poorly officiated, and I think a lot of Stars fans would agree with me on that. What do you think, James?
Yeah, I very much agree with you. I think that the 10-minute misconduct is like, that's at least kind of understandable because you don't really see players follow the refs like Duchesne did. But other than that, it was pretty bad.
The only other thing that I wanted to talk about tonight, and because there really wasn't much to talk about because the Stars played really well. We talked a little bit about the offensive game for both teams. For the Stars, it was off the odd man rushes, and for the Nashville Predators, they were just getting, zone time in the offensive zone for them. But it's that top line. I mean, I don't know what else to talk about because they literally did all of the offense in tonight's game, excluding the empty net goal.
Yeah. I mean, the top line is scary like we knew it was. We thought that they might have a slow start since Robo was not at training camp. That's obviously not the case. It took him 1 game, and he's back in full midseason form again. I mean, if our first line's going to keep doing this, and then those other nights we're going to get that secondary scoring from like Marchment and Sagan, like this is a really, really scary team right now.
And
we'll see. We'll see how it goes when we actually play a different team. Because honestly, when you lose to the same team like 4-1 in like back-to-back games, I don't know how bad the Predators are versus how good the Stars were. It's hard to tell at the beginning of the season like this.
Well, what I do like to see is that the Stars are outscoring their opposition 9-2 in the first 2 games of the season, regardless of who they're playing. That's fantastic. We
And
would get 9 goals in like 6 games or 7 games under Bonus's system. So, I'm loving it right now. So far, so good.
you want to move to biggest winner and biggest loser?
Yep, let's go to biggest winner and biggest loser. Why don't you go ahead and do both first?
Do both or just do biggest winner?
Just say you're biggest winner and biggest loser at the same time. Just do it.
Okay. So my biggest winner is going to be Robo because I really thought that not being at training camp was going to hurt him a lot. It's very, very clearly not the case, and he looked really good tonight. And biggest loser, I don't know. Everyone played really well tonight. I guess I'll give it to Matt Duchene because 10 minutes.
I will give my biggest winner to Robo Hints, and I'll agree with Brandon over here in the comment section. They mentioned during the broadcast that it took him 11 games to actually score a goal last season, and he still flirted with 40 goals. That was literally what Razor said. And I had totally forgotten about that he had started really cold in the goal scoring department. He could have scored 40 last year along with Robertson if he had not had that 11 game start where he couldn't get anything in the back of the net to save his life. So I love the fact that he's doing well. He's starting this way, and he's my biggest winner tonight. My biggest loser is honestly going to be the refs, because I know that we were the benefit in some of these calls, and Matt Duchene, one of their best players, wasn't on the ice for 10 minutes, but it was very poorly officiated tonight. However you look at it, because there was some calls that I thought were missed by the refs that should have been called, and the calls that they did make, maybe 70% of them, I thought were kind of stupid on both sides. So they're my biggest losers for tonight. If I want to give one more biggest winner shout out, I got to give it to UC Saros, because, I know he gave up 4 goals, but still, they were almost all odd man rushes, and it's hard when you don't get any help defensively from your skaters. So
if you're given two winners, I'm giving 2 winners. Otter is the best goaltender in the world. 967 tonight, and he had a 969 the other night. That is insane. Okay,
he's averaging a 968 in the first 2 games of this
the
season.
The only goals he's let up have been tips that have been right in front of him that he had no chance of saving, and even then, he saved some of those.
Is getting.
There's no way that he keeps doing this, but if he does, this is the best team in the NHL.
It has to be, because that means there's no goals that are being scored by the opposition, right? Absolutely not. I like Brandon's biggest loser here. Biggest loser tonight, Chris Chambers, for not being here to celebrate this W. I agree with you, Brandon. You win the segment.
He also had a 5-hour drive, so double big L.
Double big L. Did he at least get to listen to the game?
I think he watched it on.
He actually got to watch it. Okay. Well,
I don't think he actually was driving, but he was riding.
Okay, James, anything else we need to talk about? I think that's it.
Since Chris isn't here, I will say it. GG, boys.
Along with James, my name is Ryan. Thank you guys for coming along and watching this after game review with us and hanging out with us for tonight. Go and check out sarcasticremarkshop.com for the shirts we're wearing. James and I are wearing them. You can go check them out there. Any support there, we'd appreciate that. Thank you to our sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook. Use that promo code THPN next time you use their services. We thank them for being the podcast. Oh my gosh, the word escaped my head. Advertiser for this episode, our podcast, and all of THPN. Once again, along with James, my name is Ryan. We will catch you guys on the flip side. Chris will be back for the next game. James, when's the next game?
It's on Monday, also at home, 7:00. I might be there for that game, so we'll see.
We'll see. All right. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good evening.